Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu Loka Samasta.
Hi, this is Audrey with Nefesh Pilates again. We are a full-service Pilates studio as well as a rehabilitation center, and today we are going to be talking about spondylolisthesis and how Pilates works for that condition. Spondylolisthesis is becoming increasingly more common in our populace today. There's a number of reasons why, and we could go over many of them, but that would take probably an hour, and we don't have an hour. So what I'm going to tell you is what spondylolisthesis is. I've got Maurice here, and he has a relatively nice spine. What spondylolisthesis is when one vertebra shifts and moves over the vertebra below it. And that used to be called slip disc, and you could call it a slip disc. But what ends up happening in a spondylolisthesis, or spondylolysis, he lost his arm, is that the pars interarticularis, which are right in through here, actually break, all right, or become fractured. So a spondylolysis is a fracture. A spondylolisthesis is where it's a complete break on both sides and the vertebra has shifted forward over the other vertebra. So the causes of pain with a spondylolisthesis, believe it or not, are not in relation to the grade, how far it's gone, either grade 1 where it's 25% slippage or grade 5 where it's slipped 100%. You could have a grade 3, 4, or 5 and have no pain whatsoever. So there's a big discussion on why is that person having pain. Well, what they've come to find is that over time, all of that inflammation and pressure on the nerve roots causes this person to experience pain, and also the degeneration of the spine. So not only are there different grades of spondylolisthesis, there are also different types and how you get them. So you can be born with it, which is congenital. You can acquire it, which would be with a certain kind of a sport. Dancers, gymnasts, soccer players, football players, all have repetitive injuries, and they also have repetitive going into hyperextension. Matter of fact, 98% of gymnasts out there have a spondylolisthesis. There was a study done in Akron, Ohio by sports medicine doctors, and 40% of the children that were coming in with low back pain had a non-healing low back break just as a spondylolisthesis. So the biggest question is what can we do about it? All right, how can we correct it? We can't, but we can bring the person back into function again so that they're not reducing more and more activity. They're going to learn new behavior patterns on how to move, and we re-educate their movement patterns so that they have more choices and make better choices in movement and correct their posture. This is Nina, and Nina has a spondylolisthesis. And what you're looking at is a hallmark posture. The hallmark posture is bent knees, a tilted pelvis, rounded shoulders, and a head that has gone forward. Now, why is she doing this? She's doing this because in her effort to take that vertebra and bring it back, she's bending her knees and trying to correct and bring her pelvis down. And as a result, it's like a domino effect. The shoulders slope, the head goes forward, and everything starts to break down. So the foundation starts here. What I'm looking for now for Nina to tilt her pelvis, work through straightening her legs, bringing her rib cage in, lifting the sternum, which brings the head back into position, slightly tilting your chin, and bringing her into better posture. Now, Nina's only been with me for 3 sessions, so the biggest thing that we're going to work on is getting her to work through the back of her knee. And as long as she can get this posture and learn, and we can re-educate her movement patterns to where she can hold this posture without it being difficult for her, she's going to have this beautiful neutral pelvis, which is going to support a neutral spine which is going to offload that disc from shearing forward, because she's going to be holding that with strong abdominals that she's going to learn to have. We're going to strengthen her mid-back here. That's going to open her chest, allowing the head to float back into the natural spot. And when we do that, she's going to be learning lengthening exercises that are going to separate the vertebra, thereby avoiding the compression that is often a hallmark of spondylolisthesis. And the reason that we want to do that for her is so that she can have more activities, more function, and be in less pain. I'm going to have her lie down on the reformer, on her back. And I'm going to put a couple of springs on. These springs represent a resistance. And since we don't want to increase the compression in Nina's spine, and we want to teach her to go into a neutral pelvis without gravity, we can do this on this beautiful platform that moves. She puts her heels up. She goes into ankle, knee, and hip alignment. She relaxes those shoulders down into the proper posture. Rib cage goes down towards her hips. She's got that nice neutral pelvis supporting the spine in the right position. And then from there, we're teaching her how to use those legs by stretching all the way out. She's going to press away. And we're going to work bit by bit through our lessons and going through the back of that knee while holding that pelvis in place. So I just want you to bend your knees and straighten your knees. Inhale as you come in, and exhale as you press out. Inhale as you go in, and exhale as you go out. And continue to move. So as she continues through this very important footwork, we are supporting, teaching, re-educating her movement patterns so that she learns to recruit those muscles in the correct order in order to support that spine. There's so many more things that we could talk about as far as Pilates and spondylolisthesis, but suffice it to know that Pilates is awesome. It is something that helps spondylolisthesis. It doesn't aggravate it as yoga would, going into sustained holds in both flexion and extension is not good for the Pilates, not good for the client who has spondylolisthesis. We want to be able to correct posture, strengthen the client, support them, and teach them that they too can have a life full of movement and function. Welcome, and hope to see you soon. We're at 2020 Hurley Way, Suite 310. You can contact me at 220-7534.
Summer star.
Hi, my name is Nina, and I initially came to Audrey because I was involved in a motor vehicle accident 5 months ago where I was rear-ended on the freeway. I've only been with Audrey for 3 months, but I've seen significant improvements, one of which in particular is that I'm noticing my posture. I spend all day at work sitting in a chair at an office, and a lot of times I sit like this just because it feels better on my back after I learned I was a spondy. But being with Audrey, I realized to really position my spine back and relax my shoulders and try to keep aware of the position of my body to help me really deal with it.
In the sun.